Good morning. It's mid-July, a little bit past mid-July, and I thought I'd take a look at everything that's looking beautiful right now in the yard and take you for a walk around and just take a look at everything. And there's quite a bit that's changed since June and even more since the spring and May. Some of the roses are starting to come back into flush, so that's beautiful. The dahlias are starting to flower. Both the seed and the tuber dahlias are starting to flower, and the cut flower garden is finally going off, and there's just a couple other fun things, so let's go take a look. The front porch is constantly in flux because this is where all my plants that I buy that are on their way into the property or that my mom gives me, this is where they land. And this is my little nursery area. This is the shade nursery on this side because everything's in the shade. And then it goes to partial shade and then full sun over there. So yeah, there's plants here coming that are going to be coming into the yard soon. Some Virginia, some hostas, a hellebore or two. My mom dug up some elephant ear from her yard. But what I wanted to talk about right now was this. This is a Santa Barbara begonia. And I'm born and raised in Santa Barbara, so it's probably my favorite, but mainly because it's just so gorgeous. It's about an 18-inch tall plant at this point, and I think there are 3 tubers in this one pot. It's quite a large diameter pot. But isn't that gorgeous? The pink and the white and the way the leaves are, they're just kind of they're real serrated. So anyway, this is Santa Barbara begonia. That's one of my favorite things. This is a volunteer nutmeg geranium that's seated itself in the patio, in the grout lines. Heading up into the citrus orchard. These citrus trees, I think, are about 5 years old. We planted them, so they're not older than that. And this is a mandarin. It's one of them, almost ripe. And over here, there's some salvia, and that's a strawberry milkshake hydrangea. Go this way. This is a panicle hydrangea that I moved here out of a shadier spot. It's an ebb tide rose. It's almost bloomed out. Really pretty color. So as you come around this corner, you start to get to see the purples and yellows come out of the area there near the blueberries. And this area has been really successful. This is a meadow sage, salvia. And all of this underneath these trees is peppermint pelargonium. So it's a peppermint geranium. And it was 5 little plants, and it's really a great kind of mid-height ground cover. It's about 2 feet tall, kind of mounds on itself. I have to pull it back every once in a while from the fence because it will climb up things. These are one of my favorite things. This is a Wedding Candles verbascum, and that's about, this tallest one here, that's 6 feet tall. So these are gorgeous, just really very striking vertical. But this area was pretty much nothing. Maybe a year and a half ago. I had the fig trees, but no other flowers along here. And the mulberry tree was here. Look at this. We're getting a bunch of mulberries. And the blueberry bushes have been much more productive this year. I fertilized them, berry tone. just gonna keep working on them, and you know, they seem to be coexisting with the lavender okay. They don't necessarily like the same type of soil, but they are doing okay here. This echinacea we got last year, and it came back. Definitely have some caterpillars eating some things. This I started from seed. Like a stack. Oh, and it's hyssop maybe. And hollyhock started from seed. It's supposed to be yellow. I hope it's yellow. It looks like a pink flower. Finally, some larkspur coming up. This is a clary sage I started from seed. I have 3 meadow ruse in here. Isn't that just the cutest flower? Whoops. I got some cotton candy rue to plant in a different part of the yard. These are fun. I wish they were open right now. But these are a yellow poppy I started from seed. I'm out here on kind of an overcast morning because colors are more vibrant. Also means some things aren't all the way open. It's a beautiful white dahlia. Now this was a tuber that we're in zone 10B. So it made it through the winter under the ground. We don't have to dig them. Gophers sometimes get them, which is a bummer. This is a Citron du Cap dahlia, the yellow spiky one there. It's one of my favorites. If a gopher got that one, I'd get another one. There's a green twister echinacea. I'm gonna have to look at that, how twisted it gets. Definitely twist down around its stem. So I just got a bunch of seed of this and started more because I want more of it. And then I have 3 purple roses in the garden. This is the only one that has a flower on it right now. Aren't these salvia gorgeous? These are 4 o'clock flower, or I want to say they're also called like Pride of Madeira, but that's something else. So 4 o'clock flower, we'll call it, and they're open because it's kind of overcast, but usually they don't open until 4 o'clock, an evening blooming flower. And they self-seed like crazy, and they cross-pollinate, so they'll be, say there was a pink one here and a white one here, well the next year you get a pink and white one with mixed color. And then there must have been a yellow one somewhere, because now we have pink and yellow and pink. And they're not my favorite, but they sure fill in this area on their own every year, so they get to stay. These are strawberry guavas, so I'm growing them up to do, well, we'll have to hedge it back. I want to have an archway here into the upper veggie bed here. And chickens were over here yesterday digging around looking for slugs and such. This is so exciting to me. Look, asparagus. I've been trying for years to get some asparagus to sprout. Finally got one. And I see some little carrot sprouts starting there. And I only have 2 tomato towers put together up here. I need to put another one together on the lower veggie beds because we have a volunteer cherry tomato down there that's going crazy. So that has to be handled. So looking at our other vegetables. So this is my experiment. Look at that. I've got a zucchini. There's a cantaloupe in here. And then zucchini on this side. There's a watermelon in the middle, and then some more different kind of squash on the back. And we can't grow things like this here. They have to be downy mildew resistant if we're even going to try, because our humidity is always above 70. And we don't get a lot of heat. we get warm, but not a lot of heat. Look at that. That's a good zucchini. I'll have to pick that later. So my theory was that if I put this right against this window that's going to glaze, south-facing window, it's going to really heat these plants up and keep them from getting powdery mildew. And so far, so good. Normally, I wouldn't have been able to even keep these plants this long. I would have had to pull them a while ago. Spray them, pull them, cut every leaf off of them. It's just really a challenge. These are a banana, Cavendish banana, 1, 2 of them. But they will run. They pup and they run. And so I put them in pots because I know I don't want them running everywhere here. And we're hoping for some bananas. And again, I'm using my same theory of this building being so hot, making it, you know, warm enough environment for them. Because even though we're zone 10B, we really don't get above 80 very often. Oh yay, I think this was a yellow tomato. Got some tomatoes starting. Carrots finally. I was wondering what happened to all the carrots I planted. I realized the irrigation was off up here for a while. And then I have 2 strawberry towers. 1, 2. And they're mainly planted with Seascape, which do well in our area. And we're getting really large strawberries off of them. They're large, more uniform kind of strawberries. So this is what works for us. Again, because we're so humid, we have so many slugs that if you try to grow strawberries in the ground, you will lose them to slugs and pill bugs and all kinds of things. And this is our blackberry wall of blackberries. This is the thornless blackberry, and the first flush is done, the first crop, and it's about to be loaded up again. Here we are, flowering everywhere again, so very exciting. Coming out of the veggie bed and taking a look at the stone fruit orchard. It's looking so pretty right now. It's all the purple flowers are blooming except for one echinacea I have to move. That's the wrong color. But it's just a really kind of fun. We have a lavender, we have catnip, and an allium, drumstick allium, and the hydrangeas, and then oregano back there. And it's just kind of a real pleasing, simple color palette that's not, it's kind of calming and cooling. There's some chives in here. And I see some of the pink on this side because it's pink, purple, and white. There's oregano. The bees love it. It's covered in bees. And there's an Agastache here. Soon these dahlias will be blooming. There's these little pink ones there. Those are the Bellini, 3 or 4 of them in this area. So we bagged fruit. We bagged the apple trees. So there's 2 apple trees. There's 4 apricots. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I thought we had 4 plums, but we have a pluot, which is just finished. It was giving us so much fruit. I couldn't believe how loaded that tree was. And then plums, which aren't doing well at all this year. 1, 2, 3 plum trees. And I cut them back this year. So I don't know, did I cut off all, I mean, they flowered like crazy. So I'm not sure what happened there. And then 2 cherries, which need more time. 1, 2. And here's the offending echinacea. The color on the tag doesn't look like the color of the flower because I want more of this color pink. And this seems really hot and red compared to the other pinks. Oh, look. First dahlia here. I think this one's Breakout. Back up view of the orchard here. I need to get another hydrangea or two and put them on this side. Maybe three. 1, 2, 3. So this is a shady, primarily shady area. This whole wall of trees on our south side really gives us this shade run here along. It's about a 20-foot, 20 to 30-foot wall of shade that I have to plant plants that do well in the shade on this side of the path and sun on the other side of the path. So these things are things I started from seed. These are a columbine. These are phlox. And then got some Virginia plants and some hellebore plants. So things will be filling in here over the next year. The hosta didn't do too well this year. That's what happens. And then it'll do better next year. And we did have this tree here. It's a type of eucalyptus, and I always forget the name. Not the silver dollar eucalyptus, but it sure has that leaf structure. And I'm leaving it because I'll eventually find one trunk I like, and I use it for flower arrangement. This is a different kind of impatient. I got a lot of my plants from Annie's Annuals, which is now gone. Annie's Annuals and Perennials. It's called Curious Flora now if you're in, the Northern California, Oakland area. But they used to ship, so that was how I got most of my plants. And probably half of the plants in the garden came from Annie's Annuals before they closed. I'll head over this way. This shade area that we planted in the last year. And I kind of didn't point them out, but there are a few Japanese anemone on the other side. These ones are the pink. And they don't escape here if there is no water to a plant. We are so dry here that it's not going to survive. So a lot of things that might be invasive where it rains often are not a problem for us here because it barely ever rains. We just have a lot of humidity because we're close to the coast. This large glorious thing, which was so beautiful in bloom, is a pink flowering currant, and I have 3 more. There's 2 in the hedge over there, and then 1 kind of back behind here. This is the guacamole hosta. It's blooming. Isn't that pretty? I do like the hosta blooms. So most of this plant in here is raspberry, and it has kind of escaped its original zone. This was 5 raspberry plants, and it's now taken over this whole area. It spreads by rhizome, so there's a plant and it sends a runner over and it sprouts up again next to it. So in the winter, we're going to pull a lot of it back because we want to have a path going through where we can at least get to the trees. This whole top row of trees is new. Since we moved in, the original apples, apricots, and plums were here. This is the dressed up ball gown heuchera. Pretty winners and a weed. And I'm trying to get things going in this area. It's deep shade and it's dry under this. This is a Australian peppermint tree. It's not a weeping willow and it's not a eucalyptus. I thought it was eucalyptus when we moved in, some sort of a draping eucalyptus. But here's the flower. It's evergreen, which is amazing, and I like cutting it when it gets too long like this. It's down, you know, almost to my waist on this side. I like cutting it so we can walk underneath it, and I use that in arrangements. Look at this buddleia. This is such a pretty color. So it's doing well in the shade, the buddleia. And this is a elderberry. And then these are our red raspberries, so more raspberries escaping their original intended location. So this is just kind of a big raspberry patch here, and we come out here and eat our breakfast sometimes. And then this is the blackberry. This is a native blackberry I have on this tunnel. It's very thorny, which is why I thought let's grow it over a tunnel that we don't have to touch it too much. These are one of my favorite plants of the year. Plants for this year, for me anyway. This is Nepeta tuberosa. So it's a catmint, Nepeta, and it sends up these super tall stalks with just clusters of flowers. And then if it falls over, it does this kind of the geotropic, the flowers will still go up against gravity. And this is another fun one. So I started clary sage from seed, and I started every different color you could possibly imagine. And there's a pink clary sage and a purple or blue clary sage. This is our goji berry. It needs a little support, so it's close enough to this. I'm just really enjoying this purple and white scheme we have going right now in here. Ooh, this is Labyrinth, I believe. It's about to open, dahlia. All right, let's go into the woods. Down this way through the woods. I need to run an irrigation line up this. I have to remember. Look at this monstera. My mom has a gigantic monstera in her backyard, and I'm kind of trying to emulate that. This was an indoor house plant, and it survived out here a couple winters so far. It's in the ground. It's just kind of a neat plant. Tradescantia is going crazy. This is a bubblegum Tradescantia here, and then more of a native blackberry. And along the dry creek bed here, I have heuchera planted that have a pink flower. So that's really neat when they're all blooming. It's beautiful. But we've had a deer coming through. Again, we keep adding to our deer fence, and it's sneaky deer. Over here, some ginger, shell ginger. This is chocolate covered cherry. Coleus. I'm going to start more of that from seed. Lungwort. And then this is the glorious pink hydrangeas that I've propagated 5 now of these. And where the pink flags are new plants, so I make sure I hit them with the hose. So way back in there, there's going to be another pink hydrangea in this area, which I think is going to be perfect. And there's a couple of other areas. This is a pink irisine, lime irisine here. No, pink bloodleaf. This is the same plant but yellow, lime irisine, and this is the pink irisine. And then all of these really ferny looking leaves are called Geranium majorense, and it will send, it's a biennial, so we don't have a flower this year on it, but next year we're going to have 6-foot tall balls of purple that come up, and they're about 3 feet in diameter. They're huge. But I just think this area, the tropical kind of vibe that I'm trying to go for, rainforest, is coming together. Finally got some plants for the hanging baskets, and one of these days I'll get the irrigation finished. So this side, more of the pink hydrangea. And this is why I just really have grasped this pink hydrangea in the lime irisine, because the stem on the irisine is bright pink. Look at that, bright pink stem. So it just perfectly matches the color of the hydrangeas, and it was accidental, and I'll take it and I'll run with it. So this whole area is pinks and yellows. This big plant is a tree coleus, and it has a purple flower, spike flower like a regular coleus, but it gets 20 feet tall. I mean, it's tall. It's really tall. So it's a tree. It is a tree coleus, and it started as a plant that was this big a couple years ago in my yard. And it's very easy to propagate if you want more of it. Start with one and you'll be fine. But look at that. It's all the way up in this oak tree. Heading into the blue garden. These steps head up to the upper part of it, and I'm down below today. I have some tiarella there. I believe it's tiarella. These such cute little flower stalks. I've been using them in arrangements. They last a long time. And then all the blue, buddleia, cornflower, borage. And down this way I have Ceranth, or honeywort, blue honeywort. These are a white begonia from Proven Winners. And then blue, not amaryllis, maybe amaryllis? Agapanthus. Agapanthus? Amaryllis. No, agapanthus, not amaryllis. So I'm trying to fill this area in with blue shade. Shade blue and white. Blue, purple, and white. And then as it transitions out here to the sunny spot, then I switch to things that will do better in the sun. Nigella, which these are just the coolest flowers. And they reseed themselves really readily, which I like, even in the dry. And then this is a blue penstemon. Well, I skipped the ugly part of the yard and turned around and looked back at it. So this is a Pride of Madeira, and I have a bunch more of them propagated outside the fence line. These are really fun. Bachelor buttons, blue cornflower. And I've gotten some Centaurea montana, which is a relative of this that has a bigger flower. And so these are all just blue flowers. This is about to go. It's Eryngium, more of the blue honeywort. This is a lily rope, lavender. This one is a mountain phlox. Blue sage, that's gorgeous. There's a huge stand of it. I'll show you by the dahlias. Oh, Pissagus is blooming. Verbascum. Princess tree, princess flower, and some more. This is a small buddleia. And right now all the rosemary is out of bloom, but there's so many other things happening right now in this area that it still has some color. There's blue honeywort, blue bachelor buttons, and forage here. And then the eryngium is starting to try to come through, which sea holly. It's fun. It's fun trying to find just blue and purple. This Astilbe is great. So in deep shade, you really have to find things that have some white in them or a bright color so that they pop and show themselves. That's a flax, variegated flax. And this is a different flax lily. Has a little blue flower. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway. And then this one will also have a blue flower. But looking at this, I need more of the Virginia, not Virginia, Bugloss. Can't remember the name of it right now. But need more white plants and plants with white flowers. These have been very successful. This is a Caitlin's Giant Ajuga, and I've been looking for a ground cover for shade that has blue flowers, and these are great. I love the flowers. Good morning. Good morning, chickie babies. Mocha, Penguin, Tetris, Alaska. Wait, are you friend or Alaska? You're friend. There's Alaska. So the kids named him. I didn't. 5 chickies. No eggs yet. Still too young. We're growing for them. We got some Azolla, which is a fern. And it's supposed to double in size every 3 to 5 days. So we're starting with it in a bucket. And it's supposed to be a really easy, good food for chickens. So anyway, giving it a try, starting with a bucket, and then we'll figure out maybe some sort of a pond, hard shell pond liner or something after it spreads more. The plants around the chicken coop are mainly natives. A native Euchera, Ceanothus, yarrow, sage, different kind of prostrate Ceanothus. Yeah, I hear you, chickies. They want to come out. They get to come out. They get to come out in the afternoon, around 5. Because then they get themselves back in. Not right now. It's too early. It's morning. Morning. Okay, back to the plants. So, redbud, yarrow. This is a manzanita. Some oak, volunteering, lupin. This is a blue or an arroyo lupin or a native lupin. I do have a lot of other lupins in the Russell lupin in the yard, but in the cut flower garden. This is sticky monkey flower, and it's called sticky. Its leaves are really sticky. It's another California native. So, starting to kind of fill this in with the natives that I like. This is California sagebrush, or Artemisia californica, I think. It has the most amazing smell, cowboy cologne. And this is sweet broom, not to be confused with French broom, which is, it occurs around here, but I don't want something invasive. This is another kind of monkey flower here, more of a yellow. But let's go down and take a look at the cut flower garden. flower. This black sage. Going in here to the cut flower garden, look at all the snapdragons. It's just blowing me away. Amazing. So I can grow snapdragons. That works well here for me. The other thing that works well is Crispidia. Aren't these cute? Super cute. And lupin is doing well. This is Russell lupin. Look at all the different colors of it. There's kind of this peach color, light purple, more of a blue purple. It's really cool. So glad I started hundreds and hundreds of seeds of Russell lupin. This is purple top vervain. And then I have the hedge, and this part is Catalina cherry, polyleaf cherry. It's a native, so it will fill in here and block us from our neighbor's very backyard. But some things, you know, I started the cut flower garden this year, and so I'm evaluating what works and what doesn't in our climate. And what's worth growing. I love stock, I really love it, but it's a cut once and it's done flower. So that's not really gonna, it doesn't help me have, you know, a cut flower garden that I can sell flowers from. I don't have enough space to grow it. Snapdragons, obviously, I can cut them and they keep coming back. And I have a huge row of Lisianthus here, which I know continue to bloom even after you cut them. And I have some Fama white scabiosa back there. Let's see, straw flower. Those are doing well. Some of these are asters, China asters, mixed China asters. And they're great because you can either cut an entire branch, which has multiple flowers, or on some of the larger branches, the stem of the flower is quite long. So you can cut just one, and that's, you know, an 18-inch stem. So those I think are a success. And I'm learning a lot. Like, if you want to use straw flower as a cut flower, it's okay to let them open up. But if you want to use them as a dried flower, they will, even off the plant, they will open and shut in light as they continue, as days go on. So you want to get them even before this. You want to get them when there's about two layers of petals open. So this would actually be a good time to pick this one if I wanted to pick it as a dried flower to save, because it will end up opening all the way up and looking more like this by the time it's completely dried. These are mums from Heirloom Mums. So we'll see, they come as little plugs, and I've grown them to this point, and now they're cut here, planted here. Carnations, when I worked in a flower store, carnations are kind of, they're great cut flowers because they last forever and they're easy and everything, but they just kind of got a bad name for a while. But these two colors I like. There's this one, I believe, see, there's a Marie Chabot and another color. That one's got a fly on it, but it's really soft yellow I like. Oh, look at the Fama white scabiosa. That one's working. And then this pink I like. La France and Marie Chabot are the two. I don't remember which one's which, but you know, look, they're loaded up with buds. They did well here, so I'm gonna keep them. But the Celosia Beyond doesn't look good at all. It's not doing it. Doesn't look like it's supposed to. So, you know, learning what you can grow in your area is really important. This is doing well. This is actually its second year, this feverfew. It's the second year it's been here. Oh, this is chamomile. I just kind of popped a bunch of weird, whatever random plants I had on this side of the entrance and on the other side over there of the entrance, so that it's just sort of more interesting. So there's bee balm, there's lisianthus, there's chamomile, there's hollyhocks. This is fragrant cloud honeysuckle. It's a newish plant, so it's not very tall yet, but that's going to be gorgeous when it's going. And then I have an American wisteria on the other side. So the cut flower gardens all was full, and I had hundreds of dahlias seeded. So I took this area over here and made a dahlia garden. And this side over here is sages. It's kind of a mountainy feel. There's lupin. This is blue sage. Isn't this amazing? This just huge. I think this is 6 plants. Blue sage, purple top vervain, chamomile behind. There's a bay, which is going to end up being a huge tree. There's an aspen, there's a baby oak back there. This is an eastern redbud. There's a stone pine. So, and that kind of deciduous, you know, evergreen and mountain flowers continues along to the end over there. Some bright echinacea. This is the Presidio echinacea, and they are huge. Look at the white one. Look at how big this red one is. I can't even get my hand there, but it's like the size of my hand. So huge. Let's talk about the dahlias. So most of these dahlias are started from seed. So I saved seed of all of our dahlias from last year, and that's these ones. There were red and yellow dahlias along this row and this part of this row. And then these, I believe, are the early bird dahlias from Eden Brothers. And then the violet, Figaro Violet maybe? Figaro White hasn't started blooming. Maybe there's a few way down there. Little guys. And then there's 2 rows of dahlias from Swan Island dahlias, and they're just starting to bloom. Let's step over the rows for now. Might have put them a little too close together. But I wanted to get as many rows in as I could and still be able to kind of walk through. And a lot of them didn't make it. I have, you know, maybe half of my order didn't make it of my tuber dahlias. And that's, you know, a bummer, but that's just kind of sometimes what happens. So these are all the named dahlias starting to bloom. But it's really fun. I'm kind of enjoying growing them from seed more than tuber. It's a surprise sometimes what you get. And as the ones didn't work, I've popped other things in here like Bells of Ireland and Status and Baby's Breath. So other things will come up. And then these are other dahlias I started from seed from our plants. Tyrell was a parent dahlia. So pretty. The variation is amazing. This one's kind of cactusy. So dahlias from seed do not come back true. They come back as something else entirely. Here, I planted by seed last year, and they all came back from tubers, and they actually came back bigger and stronger. So I love the cantaloupe color one back there, and there's a really pretty yellow, some striped ones. From seed, they're not always great, but they're unique. Look at this beautiful dahlia. I have some oak leaf hydrangea through here. Oops, let's see this dahlia. Isn't that pretty? This one is a striped. Anyway, those are all unique dahlias. So this is the back of that mound, and this whole swath, there's some Cleveland sage, the purple, and then the more white flower is catnip, and it just goes great guns. It's kind of a crazy plant. So if you plant the little tiny unassuming catnip in your yard, it may take over. I have a bunch of zinnias planted back here. And somewhere in there, there's a rose. We're getting into the zinnias. I extended the zinnia field. It was only down in that lower part last year and across there. And I brought it up the path here and hit some of this side. I did plant seed on this side, but none of them came up. Too many birds. But these are the California giant zinnias, and they just cut and come again. You can cut them and they keep coming back. And there's such a fun variety of colors and shapes. This is a grevillea. This one's my favorite. I love that color. Look at the zinnias starting. So this is just the beginning of the zinnias. They're still short. They're still only partially blooming. This whole area is going to just be covered soon. This is a Lark Ascending Rose from David Austin. And then I have a Climbing Bathsheba Rose here that'll go up over this side of the arbor. This is a Bauhinia unionensis. Working on a fruit tree alley that goes from here all the way to the back driveway here. This is a mango, Valencia mango, and I have different Pleury and Pluot, and then a pear tree. So it's, some things are surviving and doing well, some things the deer come and eat. That's a pretty salmon color zinnia. And this way into the red garden. This is a strawberry tree, Arbutus marina. This area was deep shade. There was a gigantic eucalyptus tree here, and then it fell down, and now we're trying to fill it with sun things. But this is a cousin-it plant. It's a kind of podocarpus, I believe. All these I grew from seed. All these begonias grown from seed. And then this is a fun interaction. This is an albutilon that's got kind of fiery flame looking. There's a little bit of yellow on it, and then growing up out of it is this gigantic columbine. It's got red, yellow, orange. It's amazing. And this is the lobelia. Look at that. Does well in the sun, and it has come up and then spilled out around the outside because I was trying to keep it off of the other plants, so I've kind of been hedging it up. These are red begonia from Proven Winners. I don't remember their name. This is the cousin-it again. This is Calycanthus spice bush. So it's deciduous. We haven't had a flower on it yet. Been a couple years. But this vignette right here is working. This will be a tall magnolia tree eventually. But I think this little area is pretty. This white grevillea is supposed to be the hedge that kind of divides the two areas between the red garden and my office garden, which looks not so great right now because it's been cut back, but there are some pretty things happening, so let's look at those. This is autumn joy sedum. This was 2 tiny little plants, and look at that. They're huge. They're 3 feet tall, and they're all about to go to bloom. This is the Bring Me Sunshine rose from David Austin. It's about to set more flowers. There's some donut peaches in here, which are fun. This is citronella. If you plant citronella, it's gonna go huge. Don't be afraid to cut it back. I cut this one back to almost nothing, and it's come back already. And this is the Pinky Winky hydrangea. I have another one over there we'll look at too. It's just so pretty. It's panicle. It's supposed to become 10 feet tall and wide. So I'm hoping it'll kind of fill in, cover the fence there. So this area, we pulled the poppies as they died, and then they reflush back pretty quickly. This is lemon verbena, which again, one of those little unassuming plants that's about, 4 inches tall when you get it, and it will become a tree. A gigantic shrub if you let it. It kind of sends off long branches and then they fall over. So I've been cutting this one up to keep it off the stuff underneath, which is more autumn joy sedum. This is a Fun in the Sun rose. There's nothing on it. That's a Bathsheba climbing. I need to deadhead it. Here's some example of the flowering lemon verbena with all kinds of spideys. But I like the lemon verbena, the leaves, how they curve down. It gives a little different feel. And this is lion's tail sage. This is the different variety. So here's a good example. I have 2 varieties of lion's tail sage over here. And this one, which gets very tall and has a longer, more narrow leaf, and the flowers are a bright orange. And then this is also lion's tail sage, and it's almost bloomed out. It's blooms earlier in the season, and its leaves are more curled, short and curled. So yellow columbine. I think this is the queen, Aguila queen. Anyway, really pretty yellow dahlia, and this is the peace rose. Look how huge it is. It's huge. Like, it's just really a very big rose. It's the size of my fist. And this is a lily tree that on the other side of this arbor. I'll show you the ones that are blooming. This is potato vine. And look at these. They're huge. These are a lily tree. I believe they're from Brex. And one's the something d'or of gold, and then the other one's a little bit more of a pink. I thought I got all this color, but they seem to be some pink. That's okay. But as this is their first year, they're about this tall, and then they get taller, and then they get taller. They're supposed to get 8 feet tall, so that'll be really cool to have that height here. This is Carpentaria, which is a tree anemone or a bush anemone. Here's some of the flowers. And if I can get them right in time, I like using these leftover seed pods in flower arrangements. I think that's it. We've gone all the way around and taken a look at where everything's at, and just got dive bombed by a bird. Just really enjoying this time of year. There's not a lot going on, just kind of maintenance, and there are some things on the front porch that I'm gonna get help planting in the shade garden, one of the shady areas, and some seeds started, and just kind of rolling with the season and enjoying summer. So I hope you're having a great summer. Staying cool, staying warm, whatever it is you need, and I'll catch up with you next time. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.